much for speaking with me. Congratulations on such a powerful film that I had a chance to see. Of course, it's being at TIFF. I got to ask you, how does it feel having a film at TIFF, which I consider probably, especially the last 2 years, very, very important because it's not like they're getting a lot of films into TIFF. And the fact that you got through and are going to be part of this, I mean, it's historic, man. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's amazing to be able to share the film with everyone finally after so long, and to be at TIFF is yeah, it's super exciting.
Like I said earlier, I had a chance to see this powerful. This to me is such about discovery, family, love, confusion, like so many things. In a lot of ways, what we've kind of gone through during the pandemic. But this is such a spiritual journey. Right off the top, let's tell folks what the film is called and what it's about without giving too much away. That's the important thing.
That's a challenge. Uh, the film is called Wildhood, and it's about a young person, Link, who grows up with his father, who is white, and his mother, who is Mi'kmaq, who has passed away, and he's a little half brother. And he doesn't really fit in, doesn't really belong. He's kind of at odds with his dad, at odds with the world. And one day he finds out that his mother is in fact still alive. So he ends up taking his little brother and running away and hitting the road to find her. And along the way meets this other traveler who's doing some dancing at powwows, who is another young man who's traveling. And they end up forming this bond as they continue to search for his mother.
What I enjoyed so much about it was the fact that language was spoken in this film. Music was like you really took so many great elements in making this story. It wasn't just about the characters. It was the scenery that you had. Like I said, the music and of course language that you know as we know now in history was being erased and you made sure that this was fluent in the film.
Yeah, it was very important to have the language be in in the story. There are a few aspects that we were highlighting and trying to kind of keep to the forefront, and that was one of them. Was super crucial. I'm not a fluent speaker. I didn't get to grow up speaking the language. I've been learning for 5 years or so. I still probably have the vocabulary of a small kid, but small steps. Um, so I partnered a lot with the Wabanagi Two Spirit Alliance, and speaking with John Syllaboy there, who was helping out a lot with how the language is used, what the pronunciation is even, and working with the actors to make sure that it's as close as we could get it.
I'm just curious though, the actors, did they know how to do the do I say powwow dance? I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. Is it powwow dance? What do I
It's fancy dancing.
fancy dancing? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Did they already know beforehand or did they learn this um doing the film because this is again a very important aspect of the film.
Yeah, when we were doing auditions, that was a question we asked if the actors had experience or background in dancing. And Josh, who plays Buzz and I think he might have had some experience. It's been a while since those auditions happened, but either way, he had either just started or was starting lessons. So he was learning in the process of learning, and he devoted a lot of time uh, uh, to learning, like wearing his regalia and with that. And it's a beautiful thing to see when he's dancing in his regalia. And then for the other character, Link, who is played by Philip Lewitsky, he didn't know anything at all, and that was the way. I'm pretty sure he didn't know anything at all, unless he didn't tell me. But the goal was his character doesn't know anything, so he doesn't have to know anything. And it was nice to get them to learn, or to that teaching moment could actually happen on the camera or partially in rehearsals.
You know,
Um,
and sorry, I was going to jump in. One of the things I've found with the film too, and again, I don't want to give too much away because this is so important to watch it, without knowing too much, was the discovery of identity. I felt like a lot of the pain was the identity part of it. Why? How did you figure out how to weave that in throughout this story? Because I said I think it's very important. I think a lot of people go through identity.
Yeah, it's a bit of a multi headed thing that's going on, for the for each character
For
really.
each character,
But
yeah.
yeah, and for the main character, right? He's discovering who he is, for gender, sexuality, cultural identity as well. Learning the language, learning from these elders and knowledge keepers, and just other community members that he encounters along the way. And to me, that's how I learned. It's how a lot of people learn. You learn by being around community and by listening, and by making mistakes, and being corrected or teased. Um, so that was an important aspect that I think was just, it's got to be in everything, and hopefully it's in all the parts of it. But yeah, it's definitely it was tricky, but because it was so grounded in the characters and the worldview, that it's just there.
Two scenes that really stand out for me also. The what we call the rehab house, I'll call it that, and the store where our main character and the person running the store meet. And to me, those two again goes back to that word identity and the struggle of identity. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of those two scenes, please? Because again, like I said, it goes back to identity.
Yeah, so the first scene is, it's a, you're pretty close. It's a halfway house.
Halfway house.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's very much more one of the spaces in the script is very rigid and very colonial. So there's a lot of entering into that space with stereotypes set against them, and preconceived notions that come from this person that they meet there, and notions about, wow, the wind is taking my, whatever. But there's just preconceived notions about, a Link's mother that they're trying to find, and the type of person that she is, and judgment on what she does and how she has lived her life, or the choices that she's made. And it's very negative. It's not a very uplifting or positive moment. And that impacts people. It impacts people a lot. Everywhere it's a reality, unfortunately. I didn't want to spend too much time on it because I think there's a lot of other things to explore and good things to explore. One of them being the encounter in the store that happens with Desna, who is the cashier or the store owner, and Desna is a community member. Desna is just an actor. He was auditioned for the short, and he couldn't do it, or we couldn't work it out, or we were casting by pairs, and it was like this pair, that pair. So kept Desna kind of on our radar. And when this opportunity came up, I just sent him a message, and I was like, "Do you want to come in and do this crazy scene? You just have to be yourself." And that's how that happened. And there's a lot of energy in that scene.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teasing and poking, but it comes from a good place, not like the other scene, which comes from a place of shaming. And it's also just very, very amazing to see the interaction between these two characters.
There is actually a third scene, but I'm not going to go into that because, again, I don't want to give too much away. But I do want to talk about the landscape and what a wonderful way that you filmed this as they traveled night and day. What was that like to be able to do that? Because to me, I don't know where exactly or how far it was, but to me, it felt like they literally was going across the country.
That's amazing. They do travel around the territory, around the province. Um, when we were filming it, it was important that we do it, but it was also it's a challenge. We're outside of the city center. We're outside of Halifax, which means we're far away from support systems that are there, that are constructed to be there for when you're filming. But we needed to be on the land. We needed to be in the forest. We needed to be by the lakes and the streams. And luckily, there's a few smaller towns that are like kind of little hubs that you can kind of get into within 20 minutes or half an hour. And be able to kind of get what you need there enough that you can kind of go back out into the woods or on the beach or into the open and be able to film there. And then filming at night too it's always a challenge.
How did you guys not get eaten by mosquitoes or bugs or whatever? I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, I go into my backyard at night and I gotta have off on me or else I'm eaten alive. Like, how did you get through that?
Some days it was fine because the wind was wind is very present. The wind came out on a lot of days to spend some time with us, which I'm very grateful for, and kept the bugs down a lot. There were 1 or 2 days though where it was hard, especially at night.
Yeah.
Filming by like the lakes and stuff where the water is still. Yeah, the poor actors. And there was there's a whole sequence of things that was didn't make it to the final cut, but that night I think was the worst for bugs. There were like every type of mosquito in the world was there.
Oh, they were waiting for you, but man, we were waiting for a film like this. How important do you think, after now, with all the discoveries and the things that we have gone through and we've seen, things that have been in the news, that now this film, do you think it has now even more of a message that folks can learn from? Because, like I said, eyes are really opening these days.
Yeah, I think, when I talk to people um, about how things have changed, and there is a change. There's more awareness than there used to be about everything. Uh, there's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of ground to cover and travel together. But my hope is that this is something that can help do that. That people watch this, non-Indigenous people watch this, newcomers to Canada watch this, and they can look around to the land that they're on and the people that are the stewards of that land and that belong to it, and can learn the lessons from them that are there just waiting to be learned, that are probably seen or passed by every day. So my hope is that it does good things for people, that it builds bridges and can help some relationships. I don't think it's a magic cure-all. I think stories are good and have power to bring people together, and I hope that's what this one does, as much as it possibly can.
It's emotional. It got me like from beginning to end. In fact, thank God, of course, as we speak, I had a screener. I could go back to certain points because I wanted to really connect certain other things and go, did I miss something? So, Brett, congratulations, man. Amazing job on this. Congrats on getting this at TIFF. Looking forward to future works that you're going to have too, and looking forward to where this film's going to end up after TIFF. Big screen. People need to get out there and they need to see this because I think it's very important, especially today. Thank you again for the interview.
Well, Alec, thank you.